Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be talking about the blue wall in the 2024 race and how it is essentially locked down for Kamala Harris, and I really don't say that lightly. And the great thing is for the Harris campaign, if Donald Trump is not able to break the blue wall, meaning if he's not able to break, flip either Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, and we don't see any other surprises in the traditionally blue states, not even like Nevada or Arizona or anything, then Kamala Harris wins the presidency. With just, as you can see here, with just the blue wall plus the blue states, Harris is at exactly 270 electoral votes. Trump and Vance are at 268. So this is essentially what the Trump campaign needs to do. They need to break the blue wall or else nothing else matters. But what you might notice about my current forecast is that some of the Harris campaign's best margins, strongest margins out of the battleground states, which now includes Texas, Iowa, Ohio after the new Selzer poll. Some of our strongest margins actually come from the blue wall. Just taking a look at my actual forecast on the spreadsheet here, you could see that right now I have Michigan and Pennsylvania for the first time ever as a likely Democrat. Likely Democrat indicates a state with a 5% margin or higher for the Democratic candidate. I have Michigan going to Harris by 5.7%, Pennsylvania by 5. Wisconsin is not quite likely, but almost there, a 3.7% margin. My forecast would have to have a significant error in the state of, Wisconsin first, because that is the closest to going to Trump, in order for Donald Trump to win the presidency. So the blue wall, essentially, is locked down, especially after this Selzer poll from Iowa that changes everything, which we're about to talk to. But point being, if Trump, if my forecast is at all correct, and Kamala Harris is able to hold on to the blue wall, again, nothing else matters. She's at exactly 270 and she wins the presidency. Donald Trump is essentially blocked out, forced out from possibly winning the election. So, you've all seen the new Selzer poll from Iowa. This is America's most accurate pollster since 2012. Their biggest miss in a presidential election in Iowa has been 2 points. That was in 2016. In 2012, they were off by a point. In 2016, they were off by 2 points. And in 2020, when every poll said that Iowa was basically tied, basically a toss-up between Biden and Trump, and again, last election in 2020, Selzer's final poll said it was Trump plus 7. He ended up winning by 8. So he won it by 8 in 2020. Their last poll was plus 7 for Trump in 2020. Today, he stands at -3. Harris is ahead in the state of Iowa. This is an absolute shock. Harris is ahead in the state of Iowa, 47 to 44. Harris wins Iowa. That's an 11-point trend toward the left. So, looking at the 2020 election map, as I said, Wisconsin is Trump's clearest path to breaking the blue wall and therefore being able to win the election. Now, Joe Biden won the state of Wisconsin by 0.6% in 2020. If Trump from 2020, Trump won Iowa by 8.2. If Trump was able to get his numbers up in Iowa to a 9-point margin, which is a 0.8% gain from 2020, it would probably result in a win in Wisconsin, where he only lost by 0.6, right? Gain of 0.8 in Iowa probably results in a victory in Wisconsin, where he lost by 0.6 last time. Iowa and Wisconsin, very similar electorates, very similar geographically, very similar politically. They're neighboring states. They're right next to each other. They're Midwestern Rust Belt states. So, again, with Iowa and Wisconsin are essentially the same, all in one. In terms of, obviously not by margin, but the shifts that will occur in 2024. If Iowa shifts, say, there's just an example, 5 points to the left, then you will see a very similar occurrence in Wisconsin. It will shift just about 5 points to the left. They're just about one in the same when it comes to the shifts. That goes for Minnesota as well. They're very similar politically. I mean, we can just see that when you go from you can do 2012 to 2016. That's a good example. You see Iowa trended a tremendous amount towards the left, and all the other Rust Belt states, towards the right, towards Trump. He gained 15 from 2012, and all the Rust Belt states followed suit. I mean, you had a record shift in Michigan, 10 points, record shift in Wisconsin, 7 points. Not quite as much as Iowa, but you get the general trend. So again, as I said in the beginning, Trump probably needs to get to a 9-point margin in Iowa in order to win Wisconsin and break the blue wall. He's down by 3 in America's most accurate pollster. Down by 3, needs to win it by 9. That is a 12-point deficit in a poll. He needs to make up 12 points if this poll is accurate. And again, this poll has never been off by 2 points in a presidential year. Get this in your mind, in order for Donald Trump to win the presidency, in order for him to break the blue wall and have any path to being elected president, Donald Trump would need Ann Selzer's Iowa poll to be 12 percentage points off. He's down by 3, needs to win by 9 at a minimum. 9 is an absolute minimum. Selzer has never been off by more than 2 since 2012. So it's virtually impossible right now for Donald Trump to win the presidency. Kamala Harris really has this locked in. Again, this poll needs to be off by 12 points. The most they've ever been off since 2012 is 2. It simply is not going to happen. Even if you're so friendly for Trump and you say this poll 7 points off, 8 points off, that's still a deficit of 4. If it's 8 points off and it's a 12-point deficit, that deficit only reduces to 4 points. Wisconsin is still going for Kamala Harris by a substantial margin. It's still becoming 4 points. More, or would that be the case? I don't know. It's staying with Kamala Harris somewhere around 4 percentage points. It's not even close. So, this new data that we have from Iowa, and as well as, other Midwestern polls like Kansas, you had a really gold standard poll come out and say that Trump was only ahead by 5. So it's not exactly just Ann Selzer. But again, that would take a stretch, right? For Donald Trump to possibly win Wisconsin. And let's say he even does. Let's say he breaks the blue wall. And then, I think that Harris is still favored in every other battleground. But let's say, Trump takes Nevada, he takes Arizona, he takes Georgia, he takes North Carolina. Sure, in this case, he wins the election. But the chances of this are so slim. The chances of him flipping Wisconsin at all are slim. The chances of him having any path to victory are almost non-existent, right? Sure, there is some path where he flips Wisconsin. And then you just got to hope for the best that you don't have Georgia go blue or Arizona go blue. And then still, it's over after this such uphill climb to win Wisconsin. There is just, I don't see Donald Trump being able to win. And it's not the same as 2016, not at all. Ann Selzer's final poll in 2016 was Trump plus 7. He won it by 9. Trump plus 7. Now, it's Harris plus 3. That is a 10-point margin between what they projected in 2016 versus what they project now. That is not a good sign for the Trump campaign, and it makes sense. You've had the overturning of Roe. You've had this massive influx of white women, or women in general, I should say, in their support for the Democratic Party. You've had January 6th. You've had Donald Trump now being a convicted felon. This is simply not the same election. Donald Trump does not really have a path to victory right now. I don't see it. When you look at the Selzer poll alone, it doesn't make sense. You got to look at the polls where they're somewhere close. They have a proven track record. You can trust this poll. And when you look at Selzer, there's almost no path to victory for Trump. If it was Trump plus 3, that'd look bad for Trump. But at least that's something. At least with a 5-point margin off, underestimating Trump, which has never happened, but that's in the realm of possibility, 5-point underestimation of Trump here, then he still could win the state of Wisconsin. But numbers like this really do make it impossible. This is my forecast, 319 to 219. It would take a miracle for Donald Trump to win the election. Maybe even more than a miracle. So thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe down below. That really helps out a lot. Comment your thoughts on this topic. Drop a like as well. And I will see you all later.